Our next laureate was a lifelong resident of Dothan and a man of few words. He was very humble about his involvement in Dothan and was quick to commend people over the years who worked with him in improving our community. This gentleman made a difference in the lives of dozens of children and a multitude of people from every walk of life. Morris M. Slingluff.
Perhaps the best description of Morris Malone Slingluff is well-rounded. He was an accomplished athlete, quarterback for the 1959 Dothan High football team, a member of the school's golf team he helped lead to the state championships, and a winner of the Future Masters golf tournament. He was Auburn University's first golfer named All-American, and his name is on the college's Tiger Trail. Morris was competitive in the world of sports, and he was the same way in business, competitive yet fair and honest. He joined the insurance company of his father Betts in 1963, and from his first day on the job until his last, he treated people the way he wanted to be treated. And that's why Dothan did business with Morris Slingluff. Perhaps the biggest tribute to his business ethics is the fact that many competitors, when selling or retiring, entrusted their customers to the care of Morris Slingluff. And his business, Slingluff Insurance, grew from 4 to 19 employees. All inductees into the Business Hall of Fame have something other than business in common. All were givers to the community, and Morris was a big giver of his time and of his resources. Chairman of organizations such as the United Way, Red Cross, serving on the boards of the Von Bloomberg Center, Southeast Alabama Community Foundation, and Chamber of Commerce. He was president of the Dothan Rotary Club and the Biracial Study Group. But without question, Morris's biggest love was education and our students. He served as chairman of the Dothan School Board and Dothan Education Foundation and played an integral part of the Yes We Can movement. And to honor Morris, a school now bears his name. Nobody understood better than Morris how vital education is for our future. He knew a strong education system would yield great leaders, and nobody was a greater leader than Morris Slingluff. On the football field, the fairway, in business, or helping in the classroom, Morris Slingluff gave 100% effort 100% of the time.
One of the lesser known facts about my father, most folks know him as the sweet, kind, loving man, but he was one of the fiercest competitors that I have ever known. Whether you were bowling, playing gin rummy, playing golf, or in business, he wanted to whip you like no tomorrow, sideways, up and down. And he would do it with a smile on his face, and after he did whip you, he would say, "I sure enjoyed it. You played well, and I enjoyed the fellowship." But that, he was the number one thing, is he was happy that he whipped your butt in whatever he did. So one thing that sticks with me about my father, and I'm not one to quote scripture, but Jesus said, love your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And never did I see a man live with that on his shoulder like Dad did. He touched the hearts of many people, hundreds and thousands of people. And what legacy to leave your children as something like that.
Accepting the honor this evening for his father and on behalf of the family is Ben Slingluff.
Good evening. This is a big deal. Janice Shepherd, is she out there? Janice, you done good. It's fancy. First of all, I would, on behalf of my family, I would like to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for this great honor for Dad, who y'all know as Morris. I'd like to thank Kevin Payne for nominating him, and also thank the Wiregrass Church for allowing this to be held here. And a quick plug for the Wiregrass Church: for those of you who don't believe Jesus likes rock and roll, y'all need to come visit the Wiregrass Church. You'll change your opinion on that. Shane and I go to the Episcopal Church, but we come here 3 or 4 times a year to get a little balance in our life. I know that this honor is very humbling for my father, especially with being inducted with Mr. Red Dove and his close friend, Mr. Ralph Smith. I had a vision of what heaven would be like tonight, and I envision a room with a TV in it and a big leather armchair with Mr. Red Dove sitting front and center, and then Mr. Ralph and Morris, being Mr. Red's junior, sitting in 2 metal folding chairs next to him. And I can hear Dad leaning over to Mr. Ralph and saying, "Ralph, you're a far better man than me. You need to be sitting here with Mr. Dove." And then Mr. Ralph would say, "No, Morris, you're the better man than me. You need to be sitting here only with Mr. Dove." And then Dad would look back and say, "Mr. Ralph, look what all you did for the children in our community, what you did for Rotary Club." And then he'd say, "No, Morris, look what you did for education." And he'd say, "Ralph, you did this church, civil rights." When we get there, that conversation's still going to be going on between the two of them. Morris Slingluff is being honored in a great way tonight, being inducted into Dothan's Business Hall of Fame. And I am receiving the award on his behalf. So what do I say? What could any of you say, being in my shoes, accepting this award for such an awesome man? One thing I can say or do is brag on him, because he wouldn't do that for himself. It wasn't his style. Ever since I was about 3 years old, I knew there was something special about my father. And at whatever age each of you were, when you met him, you knew there was something special about my father. There was something about him, and for many, many years, I would try to put my finger on what makes him so great. I knew he was great, but I wanted to put my finger on the one thing that made him so great, the one thing that made him successful. I wanted to simplify the complexity of his greatness. And just recently, to my amazement, I did. And I'd like to share it with you. Would you like to hear it? He loved us. He loved you. He loved me. He loved Dothan. He loved the schools. He loved the teachers. He loved whites, blacks, yellows, reds. He loved Christians, Jews, Buddhists. He loved Slingluff United Insurance. He loved the employees, and he loved our customers, and they felt it. I could stand up here and talk about his work ethic, his insurance knowledge, and other reasons why he was a successful businessman. But those things are small when comparing them to the main, bottom line reason to his success: love. Now again, as I said on the Jumbotron, I'm not the preaching type, but Dad had a verse in his office, in the corner, not for anybody else to see, but for him to see. And I think it was a reminder and a gut check for those tough days. And it is the secret that he knew all along. It is simple sense, and it says, Christ in you, is the hope of glory. Jesus said the greatest thing is to love. Christ in you, love is the hope of glory. That is what Morris Slingluff did. And he was successful. So, in honor of Morris, in honor of Dad, in honor of your friend, and in my opinion, in honor of one of the greatest men Dothan has ever seen, in honor of him, let's go love a little more, and let's go be successful. Thank you.